Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the greatest enemy that do not allow us to establish our relationship with Krishna? Veda Shastra kahe tini tattva. Or Vedanta Sutra explains three things. First, second chapter is dedicated for first and second pada is dedicated for Sambandha Vigyan. Third is for Abhidheya and fourth is for Prayojana. What is Sambandha? Sambandha is to understand our relationship with God, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. That is called Sambandha Vigyan. We started with Athato Brahma Jigyasa, inquiring about Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because that is the root cause. The root cause of coming into this material existence is that forgetfulness of Krishna. Sankhya Ananta Sukha Tara Prayojana. A living entity is Chidanu. Chidanu means the molecule of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chidanu. Just like water, from ocean water, you just find one molecule of water. When you get the smallest portion of that water, you break the water, break. If you break it further, it will become 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, H2O. So that is atom. Then it loses the quality of water. When it breaks further to atoms, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, then it is no more water. So the molecule is the smallest portion of the water. Similarly, a living entity is the smallest portion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anu Atma, Chid Anu. But it has same quality, exactly same quality as Supreme Personality of Godhead, but quantitatively it is very minute. When Supreme Personality of Godhead is all present,
Recording stopped.
Sat, Chit and Ananda.
Recording in progress.
Then living entity is also Satchidanandamaya. It is craving for Ananda. When sei sukha hetu jara mayate varila. For this purpose of getting unlimited pleasure, who accepted Maya or the Maya Shakti, Achit Shakti of Supreme Personality of Godhead, where he can come and enjoy as Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly get enjoyment. That is called direct enjoyment. Because of that, he is trapped into the false ownership and trying to claim his ownership over some woman, some property, like that. This tendency goes on, and gradually, in life after life, unlimited life passes through, and he forgets completely about Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the reason is that he has forgotten Krishna. That is called the role of Kama. Kama is the direct mean of sense enjoyment. Prema is the indirect mean of enjoying loving devotional service with Supreme Personality of Godhead. So loving devotional service is called Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, where all the spiritual living entity who are Nitya Mukta, they realize. Sei sukha hetu jara Krishnate varila Nitya parisada rupe thakila. Goloka Vaikuntha adi Chiddhame thakila. Where he is residing? He is residing in the Chiddham such as Goloka and Vrindavan. When he accepts Krishna, the source of all enjoyment, that is indirect enjoyment. So people are very much attracted to enjoy directly. Like Supreme Personality of Godhead will always get direct enjoyment because he is the Supreme and everybody else is subordinate to him. So he relishes direct enjoyment by all the offerings that is offered to him. But others cannot, should not attracted to get a direct sense enjoyment by owning over others. Supreme Personality of Godhead is the real owner, and others, when take the position of ownership, are false owner. False means Maya. What is Maya? When the relationship of Krishna is forgotten, that is called Maya. Like darkness is the absence of light, or absence of sun will be having darkness. If there is absence of Krishna in any of element, then that is Maya. Krishna sambandha vijnana hina, tae Maya. Anywhere the science of relationship with Krishna is not understood, that is called Maya. Anything which is known to be Krishna sambandha and engaged in Krishna sambandha, in the pleasure of Krishna, then there is no chance of Maya. Atmendriya pritivancha tare bali kam. When one is trying to enjoy his own personal senses directly, that is called kama. When Krishnendriya pritivancha dhare prema nam. When one is trying to please the senses of Krishna, that is called prema. So the desire of all such sense enjoyment, it is not only the association of women, it may have various subtle forms, gross forms, such as can be a sensual lust, desire for association of men and women, or food, or other sensual pleasures. It can be even mental kama, which is like craving for labha, puja, pratishtha, power, prestige, and sometimes in knowledge, in showcase of false ego, that I know so many things, I must be respected as a great scholar. So this kind of desires are there. Similarly, desire for emotional attachment and sentimental pleasures. The last is intensive craving desire for sense pleasure, which is arises from mind due to the tendency of seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. Lusty desires, whatever way we try, they are never satisfying. Jehi sansparsaja bhoga dukkha jo nahi hote. And they are illusory and binding in nature, bind into this material existence. Why we must know to stop sinful thoughts and actions, be virtuous, self-actualizations, and do devotional service. In societal, if we spread this culture of understanding the difference between kama and prema and cultivating value educations, the benefit will that the crime will be reduced. There will be healthy society. People will stop objectifying men and women for sense pleasure. They will be living for a higher meaning and purpose. And there will be gradually peace and harmony be elevated like the old Vedic civilizations. The rishis and munis are very peaceful. And there will be intellectual and spiritual progeny flourish. What is the cause? Rudrogam. It's a disease of heart. Avidya, raga, and kama are the three reasons. Avidya, ignorance; raga, attachment; kama, desire. Lack of self-awareness. Biological impulses are there. We say the hormones, and when senses are touched or senses are getting the stimulation, then neurotransmitters in work, so many things you may say. Societal conditioning, emotional unfulfillment, lack of self-awareness. What are the consequences? Mahasanam, Mahapapma, Nityavairinam, Abrutam Jnanam, Jnanino Nityavairina, Duspurena Analena, Jnana Vijnana Nasanam. So these are the consequences. All devouring, great sinner, greatest enemy, and covers the consciousness. The wisest persons. There was a story that you say that if you have sufficient knowledge, you study scriptures, then you will be able to prevent it. So that is also not possible, because karma is the root cause of material existence, and being exist in this material world only by knowledge one will not be able to overcome. I can narrate a story very shortly. There was a discussion between Jaimini Muni and Vyasadeva. Jaimini Muni told that yes, because he is karmavadi, if I know, then I will not be able to do. So because I know that lust is all devouring, great sinner, Mahapapma, it only gives sufferings, there is no pleasures. So it is not possible that I can ever be attracted to lust. So Vyasadeva told, okay, let us examine it. So they went into the jungle. After some time, Vyasadeva disappeared. He was walking alone. Then he saw a beautiful lady come in. Jaimini Muni saw a beautiful lady come in front of him, drenched in the rains. Some raining was there. And with the attractive feature of the lady, Jaimini Muni is very much attracted. Yet, he just spoke that I know, so I will be able to save myself, protect myself. So he was in a hesitant state. Mind is so much attracted. And when the lady spoke, oh dear sage, I am not finding a shelter. There is raining. Very, very much worried. Where should I live? Jaimini Muni, okay, no worry. I am here. My kutir is nearby only. You can come to my kutir. So then he gave the shelter to the lady, and Jaimini Muni went to another room where he was thinking how beautiful the lady is. Of a sudden, his thought provoked with lust desire. So then he was thinking his slokas that lust is the great sinner, this and that, to prevent this lust desire. Open his shastras, books, close the books, open the books, close the books. Oh, I must not think like that, I must not think that. This happens for quite a few times. And then he closed all of his thought and books, then knocked the door of the lady. So when lady come to know that somebody is knocking, being fearful, didn't open the door. Then Jaimini Muni asked, I am the owner, you must open the door. Then she didn't open, being out of fear. Then Jaimini Muni entered the top of the thatch. So that is kutira, means thatch, made of that paddy or grasses, etc. So Jaimini Muni entered from the rooftop, and out of fear the lady fled, and Jaimini Muni followed her. And finally Jaimini Muni was able to catch and embrace the lady. And the lady again turned to Vyasadeva. Then Jaimini Muni would realize, oh, what a great mistake I was doing. I even know all these tattvas, that didn't help me. So knowledge will not help. And here you see Jnanina Nityavairina, eternal enemy of enemy of knowledgeable person is karma. So only knowledge will not help. Knowledge is the first step. Practice is the next step. Without practice, knowledge will go away. At the time of need, it will not work. But at the time of satisfying your false ego in tarka, when you want to mug fight, logical fight among the scholars, you want to show your scholarship, that time it will work. You may put lots of logic on condemning others, but you cannot condemn yourself with those knowledge, and you cannot condemn or prevent yourselves from the impact of lust. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.31-36. Anichana api baladivan yujita. Even Arjuna also spoke the same thing, that even we do not want, still it forces us to do this. How to overcome? The Vedanta says three things. B. Viveka, Vairagya, Bhakti. If we practice Viveka, means discrimination power. Jaimini Munis had discrimination power. But the practical discrimination power of self-realizations about the senses being habituated with the practice, understand the Viveka. So discriminations alone, just for the book knowledge, will not help. But when it is having a discriminatory practice, one is able to do like Hansa, can separate from Hansa, Paramahansa, these are the stages of sannyas, like they are able to separate water from milk. If water and milks are mixed, Hansa can separate milk and drink. So that level of, when in material world there are various situations, one should be able to only accept Krishna consciousness and reject all the mundane sense enjoyments. That is the power of practicing viveka, discriminatory power, who is Krishna conscious, and the vairagya, detachment showed, can cut all the attachments, all the attractions that leads towards sense enjoyment. So, because detachment is there, rasavarja rasapi paradushta nivartante. Because he is having a higher enjoyment of bhakti, devotion service, then his detachment is powerful. If a person is not having a higher source of enjoyment, then it is not possible that his detachment will work at the time of need of greatest attack of lust. When lust attack with heavy force, then detachment, viveka, everything will not work. So your 2D will not work. The 3D, third D is devotion. So discrimination, detachment and devotion, 3D. All together will work. Sometimes your bhakti needs support from vairagya and viveka at initial level, but when one is pure, his viveka and vairagya is auto-reflected by devotion. It need not to be explicit taken care of viveka and vairagya. It comes automatically because of his inherent nature. The devotee has two nature, tatastha lakshana, swarupa lakshana. So tatastha lakshana is the manifestations of abhideya when one is practicing Krishna consciousness. That is called abhideya. Swarupa lakshana is the manifestations of pravachan. So at prayojan state, viveka and vairagya work automatically. So a first class devotee never got in trap of such situations. Like Haridas Thakur, who was so much dedicated for chanting of the holy name, would defeat Maya Devi herself. Awareness is required, recognizing lustful thought and emotions. So first one is spiritual, second one is scientific, third one is philosophical. So the combination of science, philosophy and spirituality is the holistic approach which Guru Maharaj Dr. Terry Singh, our Guru Maharaj taught us that a holistic approach should be taken to counter the scientific materialism, where our mind can be trapped with material affinities. We should combine all these three together so that we will understand and overcome them. Many strategies are there. Due to short of time, we will not be able to cover all this. Support system, the resources like Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta, that I'll just go through. Meditation, yoga, pranayama, mantra, prayers, healthy habits, exercise, nutrition, sleep, self-reflection, journalism, so many things are there. Similarly, one should follow, make some Vedanta forum, means association of devotee, A, B, C, D, E. All these are very much required. Association of devotee, book reading, chanting, then Krishna Prasad, A, B, C, D, E, enchanted devotional service. Then do's are there. Self-awareness, detachment, attachment to Krishna, spiritual knowledge. Lots of things are there. We will come back to original. So that was the reason that Devjani could realize that lost is a real enemy. And whatever attempt one may do to satisfy lust, it will not going to be satisfied, and it will cause suffering after suffering. Because of the husband being a good devotee gave him the true knowledge that materialistic association of men and women is the real cause of all suffering. And when we are too much attached to the body and its relative, deha, geha, parijana, then there is no chance that we can practice devotional service or understand Krishna. So the purpose of Vedanta is to know Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is called Sambandha, will be far out of or far reach of the devotee who is too much attached to Deha, Geha and Parijana. One should understand, so that suppose you are going to Vrindavan, so you may stay in a hotel. There will be receptionist, there will be service provider, there are so many people. And if you become too attracted to them and too attracted to your room, you want to decorate your room this way, that way, and go to the shopping in the malls and Vrindavan, buying the things for your hotel rooms, etc. And involved all these persons who are in the hotel to facilitate your stay. You are so much attracted to the stay itself and forgotten the purpose of visiting temples or associating with devotees, getting the knowledge and realization about Krishna. Then the purpose is failed, and he has to suffer the consequences even after coming to Vrindavan. So this life means why I gave Vrindavan example. This human form life is so valuable. It has been awarded to us that if we utilize it properly, like if you go Vrindavan Dham, you will go by Godhead with the Vrindavan consciousness. Being in Vrindavan, if you are unable to get a Vrindavan consciousness, then your visit got waste. You will get Dham Aparadha. And whatever offense you have committed outside of Vrindavan, if you are committing same offense inside the Vrindavan Dham, then you will get 1,000 times more offenses. Such as that this human form of life is very valuable. It has been granted to you. If you are not utilizing it, a person will definitely do some kind of selfishness, some kind of ahimsa, some kind of hinsa to live for his family and relatives, and because of that he will have to suffer. He will have to suffer Raurava Narka, because he was unaware that this human form is meant to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Even though you may think that you have not committed any sin, because you have to take food, you have to cook food. So many insects are getting killed, many living entities were killed, and to be selfish, panchajagya, all these things you have not done. So all these sinful reaction, pitruna, devaruna, you have not paid back. Rishiruna not paid back. So Raurava Narka is waiting. That's why human form must be utilized to cultivate Krishna consciousness, because it is granted for that purpose only. So those who are not fulfilling the purpose and doing something else, coming to the hotel is the reason that you have come to visit various places, sites, and here if you have come to Vrindavan, its purpose is spiritual association. Similarly, this human form is meant to cultivate Krishna consciousness and go back Godhead, nothing other than that. If a person is struggling like that, so all this, like when you check out your hotel, every people will not be seen again until you come back to that hotel again. So it's just like that. In a dream, you have so many things, so many people all around, and when the dream broken, everybody gone away. Sansara sapano ମାନ ଜୀବନ ଅନିତ୍ୟ ଜାନ ପ୍ରେମେ ଭାବେ ସଦା ହରି କଥା. There is a shloka by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Nitya hari seva. ପ୍ରେମେ ଭାବ ସଦା ଅହଙ୍କାର ଅଭିମାନ ଅସତ୍ସଙ୍ଗ ଅସତ୍ଜ୍ଞାନ ଛାଡ଼ି ଭଜ ହରି ପାଦ ପଦ୍ମ ଗୁରୁ ପାଦ ପଦ୍ମ. ପ୍ରେମେ ଭାବ ସଦା ନିତ୍ୟ ରାଧା କୃଷ୍ଣ ଲୀଳା କଥା. So that is the purpose actually. So Vrindavan example is fitting. ସଂସାର ସପନ ମାନ ବିଷୟ ବିପତ୍ତି ଜାନ. Just understand this. Material world is like a dream, and any sense, enjoyment, any utility you try to get is just like a danger. So that means anything you want to decorate your hotel room is a danger only, nothing other than that. So any amount of accumulating enjoyment, sense enjoyment or sense flourishing elements are danger, because that causes so many problems for you. To maintain it, to keep it in good conditions, if anything got damaged, so much trouble, you yourself get troubled and have to repair that. All these challenges are there. Even one should live in a ascetic life, maybe celibating, can have no time for those things, sensual enjoyment things, but all time for sense pleasure, for the devotional service or the pleasure of Krishna consciousness. So that process is that rejecting the mundane sense enjoyment and accepting the pleasure of devotional service, one can gradually overcome this state of hankering and go to the state of liberation from material bondage. So this way Devajani could elevate herself from those disturbing state of sense enjoyment to a state where she could fix her mind upon Krishna and freed from the attractions of gross and subtle bodies. Gross body means the senses attracts. Panchaitani indriyani. Who is enjoying? These five senses are enjoying. Panchabhutat, pancha tanmatrat, pancha indriya, pancha indriyat, pancha karmendriya. Total 20 elements. Panchabhutani means from earth comes the smell, from water comes the taste, from fire comes the form, the beautiful form, and from the air comes the touch, from the ether comes the sound. So these are the source of enjoyment. Smell, sound, vision, touch, and taste, which were released by eyes, nostrils, ears, tongue, and tactile senses, touches, and are exhibited through hand, leg, belly, and the organ for excretion. So like that, these senses pulling a living entity into the sense enjoyment, but the living entity who is provider of consciousness is troubled. Somebody is enjoying, somebody is troubled. Both are separate. This body and the subtle body, both are separate from the Atman or the Spiritum. But Spiritum is the provider of the consciousness to gross body and subtle body. Subtle body is mana, buddhi, ahankara, is in a contaminated state. Because contamination is that forgetful of the sambandha of Krishna. So that is the root cause. Forget about gross and subtle. What is the origin? Sankhyaya ananta sukha tara prayojana. Yes, that is the need. You need lots of pleasure. But what is happening here? You want to get it from material world. That's why what is happening now? Your consciousness is now contaminated consciousness. So what is your problem now? Your problem is that you are now having a contaminated consciousness. You are seeking for the pleasures and material pleasures. So the pleasures that actually released by the spirit soul is not actually released from material senses. So because this direct enjoyment cannot be taken by soul, so it requires a subtle body, it requires a gross body. The subtle body, suppose one dies out of material attachment without remembering Krishna, or suppose somebody commits suicide, he will get a preta joni, means a subtle body of preta sarira, subtle body. Because body is required for suffering also. So the Jama give punishment through the subtle body, preta sarira. That is subtle body. And gross body is this panchabhuta sarira. Subtle body exists. Then mana, buddhi, ahankara is the subtle portions of those body which gives the attachment or detachment. Mana hi atmana bandhu, atma ripuratmana. So this mind can be friend or can be enemy. When this mind is trained to realize Krishna Sambandha, then it will attract it toward avideha, that direct to pravachan. Avideha means practicing Krishna consciousness to develop love for Krishna. If it is not trained, then it will remain in that state. So subtle body, gross body will causing the problems. Subtle bodies need a purification, so a devotee get a spiritual body. Prakruta. Prakruta dehete aprakruta deha. When you practice Krishna consciousness, after daily waking up, doing arati, tilak, cooking for Krishna and getting Krishna prasad, you remember this. So these senses gradually become aprakruta because of continuous association of devotional service, Sravana, Kirtana, Smarana. That makes the senses habituated to aprakruta and gradually transfer. So that is the need. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. The short notice.
Good for today. Any
Yes,
comment? जय गुरु महाराज शशिपाद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत समस्त वैष्णव वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
ये हरि बोल। ये इसके सतोत प्रभु की जय हो।